also kept the heat out of the stores.
Yep.
Because it created shade out there, and for the most part you just don't see awnings at all anymore.
Yeah.
Which is kind of too bad.
Yep. And we see here again the Baptist Church on the right and the Rogers Building, which is on the left-hand side, and that actually had another level to it in those days.
That's been lost in a fire at some
taken
point.
Off. And down the street a ways we see the Ellenwood building, where now the I believe Consoni's stationery store is.
Right.
Right there.
In that corner, that's right.
And again, St. Mary's. Now there's a double track here, Rich. What's the purpose of that?
Well, they had a passing track right here on Cabot Street, and as you can see in that first picture, there were two cars actually passing each other here in opposite directions. And of course, down a little further right there in Ellis Square, not only did you have the passing tracks, but you had the turnouts which led off to the Gloucester and Essex route.
Right, because
Essex Street.
As we said earlier, at Ellis Square was the optional point of going either to Essex
or to Hamilton.
To Hamilton.
Right.
Right or left.
Right.
Take your
exactly.
pick.
There was a switch right there in the track.
Yeah. And in this third postal card, taking a bit up Cabot Street, going back toward the bridge, southerly direction, we see, I believe, the corner of Bow Street here.
Yeah.
Am I right there?
That's correct.
1910. These
are all 1910 approximately.
All 1910. And that iron railing that we see on the left side was the fencing for the St. Peter's Episcopal Church.
Which is where Bell's Market is now.
Which is where Bell's Market is today. And at this time, the church grounds were located on the corner of Bow and Cabot Street.
That's right.
And off on the right, of course, would be where the Southwick building is today.
That's correct.
In fact, that probably is the Southwick building, although I'm not sure.
Right.
Okay. Let's see, we have a 5-minute signal here, so we'll move right along, Rich.
Okay.
Next picture. We are down at the Beverly-Salem Bridge again, and this I have on my notes here is 31 years prior to the very or after the very first picture that we saw in this program, which was 1880, so we're talking here 1911.
Yep, and we're looking across the bridge from the Beverly side towards Salem, and Congress Street would be going off out of the picture here to the right in the lower right corner, rather. And you can see the track curving around in the foreground and again going over the bridge on the right-hand side, as it did even in the horse car picture. And in the distance, right in the center, you can make out the railroad bridge crossing the harbor.
Yeah. Look at all those poles, though. They were of course of necessity.
That's right.
For the electricity and so forth.
All your utilities back then were above ground. Today, a lot of it's of course buried in underground tunnels and manholes.
Yep. Okay. Next picture. As we go right along here, we're back down on Cabot Street, and this is a blow-up of a picture that has more detail in it, but this is just one little corner section that the photographer was able to...
Yeah, we had, in the process of looking through the files at the Historical Society, they have a nice collection of pictures of street corners, all taken about 1911. And they're all on glass plate negatives and extremely sharp. And one of them showed the area of Cabot Street, again, at approximately intersection of Federal Street. And I noticed that in the glass plate up in one corner was the streetcar, which you see in this picture. So I had a friend of mine who's got a home darkroom take the plate and enlarge just that section of it so we could home in on this particular area of the picture. And it came out very nicely. You see a nice heavyweight double truck closed railroad roof style trolley car posed right there, right in Ellis Square, and it's going away from us, and you can tell that because the rear pole is up on the wire, so he's going away from us. And it's just such an absolutely delightful slice of life picture of downtown Beverly in 1911 with the horses and wagons still everywhere in sight, no automobiles visible.
Yep.
And the people, the women in their long dresses, and it's just a lovely, lovely picture.
Great picture of the Ellingwood House as it stood on the corner of Federal and Cabot Street, soon to be erased for the building that we see there today, which used to house the 5 and 10
5 and 10 Woolworths, that's right.
Woolworth store. And the building on the other side of Federal Street in the background, of course, was President Taft's presidential summer office headquarters when he visited here in Beverly in 1910, 11, and 12 in that era. This is where his government communication center was set up in that building. So
That's right.
That's also of a historical interest.
That's right. And this picture, of course, would be contemporary to that time when he was here.
Yep. Now, this next one, Rich, as we are running down short of time here, we have a 1921 map of Beverly. Tell us about that.
This is a typical map that you can still get, showing the local streets and so forth of every town around. And this one, again, as you say, dates to 1921. But it's interesting in that it shows where the street railways ran in town, what streets they ran down, and so forth. And that's indicated by the single rule down the center of the roads.
Yeah.
And we've highlighted it here so you can see it more clearly in this picture.
Yep. Yep. Well, we're down to about a minute now as I get the signal. So why don't we just do this one last picture, Rich,
Okay.
and we'll call it a day here and come back for some more.
All right.
We're down at the corner, the junction of Rantoul Street and Cabot Street, lower end, down by the Beverly-Salem Bridge. And what do we see here?
This is nice, a good place to end this for today because it shows actually a transition. Now we're up in the so-called modern era of the streetcar, and actually we're approaching the last days of the streetcar. So we've changed from the heyday of the street railway to approaching the end of it. And this shows a double truck, heavyweight steel car coming down Cabot Street from the right and headed towards Salem. And again, as you mentioned, Rantoul Street can be seen going off in the distance to the left of the picture. And there's a double turnout right here in the foreground where the two tracks switched off, one two-track route going up Cabot and the other going up Rantoul Street. Yeah. And this dates to 1935.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about this picture in our next program, so we'll likely begin about this point and continue on.
Good place to start.
So, Richard Symmes, author of that fine book, North Beverly Remembered, as I keep alluding to, and such a wonderful book it is. Thank you very much for coming on to Beverly's Times Past, and we're surely going to get right back to this segment of our transportation system and its history, and take up with the collection of pictures which we've yet to show that we brought along today, and following which we will probably go into the railroading aspect of it, all from the Walker collection down at the Beverly Historical Society.
Thank you. We'll be looking forward to it.
Okay, Rich. Thanks for coming.
You bet.
So, we all thank you for watching once again on Beverly's Times Past, and Ed Josephs here saying that we will see you very soon with another edition. Good night for now.